Dr. b.m. Hegde is an Indian medical scientist, educationist, and author. He is a retired Vice Chancellor of Manipal University and the head of Mangalore chapter of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. He has authored many books on medical practices and ethics. He is also the editor-in-chief of Medical Journal. He was awarded Dr. B.C. Roy Award in 1999. In 2010, he was honored with the Padma Bhushan, one of India's highest civilian awards.
Let me express my profound sense of gratitude to Guruji and all of you who have kindly invited a villager for a conference like this of international dimension. My only worry now is, Mark Twain once said, the human brain is a wonderful organ which starts to function from the time you are born, only to stop when you stand before an audience after a brilliant speaker has spoken to speak. Now my brain has stopped. So from now on, I'll be speaking from my spinal reflex. Friends, I have been asked by Rita Mahajan to speak about the future of medical care system in India. So I'll confine myself to that. Now I know this is all about quantum physics. Quantum physics is a new science from the West, which tries to understand this universe. Let me define science. I have my own definition of science. Science is something which tries to understand this universe, how it works. Science is not something which teaches the universe how it should work. The Western science, which is called the reductionist science, is now trying to teach the world how to work. I'll give you an example. If you don't have a baby, now the Western science says we will create a baby in the test tube. If you can't deliver normally, we will take the baby out through the abdomen. But we don't realize how we are affecting nature's working. I'll give you a simple example. For every cell in the human body, we have 10 germ cells inside us. In other words, we are germs actually. We have come from germs and we are germs. But these germs, most of them come when you come out to the mother's genital tract. 90% of these germs go in when you come out of the mother's tract. Rest of them, of course, are there in your womb, in the mother's womb itself. Now, if you take the baby out from here, God only knows what will happen to that baby in the future. There are not enough studies to say what happens to these cesarean delivered babies. But what shocks me is the way we are going. A lady doctor came to me the other day and she said, in Hyderabad city, 90% of the women deliver through cesarean section. There's something wrong with our health. We call it as health care system. No, we don't have a health care system. We have a health scare system. Frightening people. What we are having is a sickness care industry. One of the most lucrative industries in the world is sickness care industry, which is 3 times more powerful than the oil industry. You probably don't know. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Now, every industry, in one sense, in the philosophic sense, is a curse on mankind. Did you know that? No. 1802, the first industry started in Europe, to be precise, in England. And there was this romantic English poet, William Wordsworth. And Wordsworth wrote a beautiful poem when the industry was coming up. The poem's name is, "The World is Too Much With Us." I'll give you 4 lines, rest you go and read. The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we seem to have lost our powers. Little do we see our own thing in nature. We have sold our soul to the devil, a sordid boon. Full stop. A little while ago, the editor of the magazine here, a brilliant young lady, a great scholar of Telugu, asked me one question. Doctor, we all look up to doctors as gods, but why are our doctors not behaving like gods? Very pertinent question, very pertinent question. My answer is very simple. Whole society has become so corrupt that doctors also come from the same society. We are not descending from heaven as a separate entity. So if 10% of the society is corrupt, 10% of the doctors must be corrupt. But unfortunately, what happens is there's a great attraction here for making money, and quick money at that. So because sickness care has become an industry. So it is perforce a law that we doctors also must be commercial. So we have become commercial. Hippocrates, whom we claim as the father of modern medicine, Western medicine, has clearly said that we have 3 roles to play in society. Remember that? Cure rarely, comfort mostly, but console always. What a beautiful saying. Cure rarely. You can't cure nothing. With your reductionist thinking, you can't cure anything. But you can comfort most things now. What is man's biggest enemy? Pain. This has been man's enemy in the past. This is man's enemy today and man's enemy in the future. You take any disease under the sun, pain. But today, we have in Western science, reductionist medicines, to allay pain of any kind. You don't have to worry about pain. But without pain, sometimes patients still have a lot of problems and say they are dying. Then Hippocrates said, console always. You know, a dying man is frightened. He doesn't know what's next. Though, of course, someone very clearly said here, I think our political leader very clearly said there is no hell and heaven. Very interesting. That brought me back to my mind a big debate I had to moderate at the last minute. The debate was, is there hell, is there heaven? And there are 2 sides arraigned. One side, all youngsters who have not gone to hell or heaven. And the other side, all elderly people expecting to go there soon. And the fight went on. And a very brilliant brain in India was to moderate that. Late C. Subramaniam, whom I respect very much. Last minute, his flight got so delayed in Bombay, he couldn't reach Mangalore. So the organizers came and said, sir, there are only 2 hours for the debate. And somebody has to moderate. And the moderator is not coming. Please come and moderate. You know, can you imagine that? So I went there without any idea whatsoever. So I heard both the sides. The youngsters were saying, now tell us, where is the proof, evidence, saying that there is heaven? Who has gone? The other side was saying, no, you don't know. As you grow old, you know where heaven is, where hell is. And, you know, you must worry about that, and so on and so forth. It went on. It was 5:30 in the evening. So I told them, okay, now let's stop. Both of you have not seen hell or heaven. But this is a town hall. Just look out of the window. Poor children who have not had 1 meal a day, playing on the ground, filth, no proper clothes, and the dog is also lying there by the side. I said, that is hell. Now look at the inside of the town hall. You're all well fed. Just now you had a round of tea circulated, and you have biscuits, and you had a light lunch. This is heaven. Now each one of you has to do one thing in life. That you are a good girl. Please try to convert a bit of that hell into heaven before you go from here. Wherever you go, you will do well. Because I was quoting D.H. Lawrence, who said, our ingress into this world was naked and bare. Our progress in this world, trouble but care. Our egress from this world will be nobody knows where. If you do well here, you will do well there. So why worry where you go? Now a dying patient is worried. I tell them, why are you worried? You are a good man. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You will go to heaven and you should go there. You're very happy. That's where you wanted to go all your life. Supposing the account keeping in the God's book is slightly gone wrong. His chartered accountant was not honest. So you may go to hell. So what? So many of your friends are there. You're so happy there. This is called consoling. Did you understand that? Now, one request I have for the government, and I've already spoken to the government, is not to have caste system in sickness care. We have this caste system. Western medicine, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, and what have you. All these do the same thing. Cure rarely, comfort mostly, but console always. But you know at the end what helps? It was said by a great thinker in medicine, very great thinker, Lord Platt, who was the professor of medicine in London for a long time. He was like a colossus. He said, what is medicine ultimately? Coming to the two human beings. A man who is ill, man includes a woman also, I'm not using it as a species, not as sex. A man or a woman who is ill comes to seek the advice of another man or a woman in whom he has got confidence. The word confidence. And when you have confidence in the other person, you automatically get cured. So this coming together of human beings is the apex of medicine. All else will flow from that summit, whether it is Western medicine, Eastern medicine, homeopathy, umapathy, Ayurveda, anything. It all ultimately comes to two human beings trusting one another and having faith in one another. Now this, a little while ago I was telling you, an elaborate study, a prospective study which went for 4 years, done by 4 universities, Oxford, Cambridge, Hamburg and Munich, led by the Oxford University Professor Bingel, showed very clearly, exhaustively, that ultimate curing is because of the faith and not because of the medicine you use. Whether it is a Western chemical or homeopathy, the effect is the same. Did you get that? But there is one difference. Homeopaths will be very happy. What will happen to the reductionist chemical you put inside the system? Another extensive study was done in Washington University by a man called Douglas C. Wallace, D.C. Wallace. Anybody writing? Yes. This is the heading of this study was called Mitochondria as Chi. Chi is energy. Mitochondria as Chi. Now this man invented a computer chip called MIT chip, mitochondrial chip. And he tagged the chip onto every medicine that goes inside, whether it is aspirin to tucromycin. Everything he tags. Now, and follows it computer-wise. When the medicine goes into the system says, hey, I have not seen this. This is something new, so I have never seen this. So throw it. It must be poison, and it's immediately thrown to the liver. So every chemical that you put inside your system, mark my words, I'm repeating it, every chemical you put into a system, if it is a reductionist chemical, that is a part of it removed, it goes to the liver for destroying. And every medicine you take, and second day you go and test your liver function test, it will be altered. Now eventually what happens after years of taking medicines, your liver goes into cirrhosis. And today we have an epidemic, which I didn't have when I was a medical student in the 50s, is called non-alcoholic cirrhosis. In the olden days, one chemical that was getting into the human system and destroying the liver was C2H, alcohol. Today, we have hundreds and thousands of these chemicals going in various forms, and they destroy your liver. Even yesterday morning, as I landed in Bangalore, somebody was waiting in the hotel for me and saying that, look, my brother has got non-alcoholic cirrhosis. He's bleeding, and they say he's useless. Can you do something? I said, only I can pray. Nothing more can be done. Because, he has bled so many times, he is almost unconscious, he has got into hepatic encephalopathy. Nobody can do anything. We must know our limits. But friends, we can prevent these things by reducing the amount of chemicals you put into the system unnecessarily. This is my request. So, what we should do is, we need modern medicine, we need Western medicine for emergency care. But emergency care is 2% of the sick population in the world, 2%. Supposing I go out and meet with an accident, now, God forbid. Now, I can't say I'll do yoga or I'll go into the pyramid and meditate, I'll come back to normal. No. Somebody has set my bones, right? So, after setting the bones, the healing can be enhanced inside the pyramid. Guruji is absolutely right. As the other person said, the blade which was inside the pyramid became sharper, so he could shave better. But most people in the concentration camp never shaved their face. So you don't worry about that. Now what happens here is, very interestingly, the Western medicine is needed for 2% of the population. So let us keep it as such. Let us not throw the baby and the bathwater out, because the bathwater is dirty. The baby is not dirty. We need the baby. So let's keep it. Now what's this disease diagnosis is our biggest disease. You are fine, you don't have any problem, you are very healthy, but you go for a checkup. Have you heard of this checkup? You read the British Medical Journal, there's a beautiful editorial which says, routine checkup of the apparently healthy is the most dangerous thing that can happen to mankind. You are laughing, it's a very serious matter, don't laugh, because you are all in it. Now why is this happening? Very simple. We will not have to go to quantum physics for that. Simple statistics. What is the height of India, male, or Indian female for that matter? What do? We collect 1,000 males, take their height, and plot it on a graph. It becomes a Gaussian curve, a bell-shaped curve. You all know statistics a little, isn't it? So now, All these people are normal inside their cow. Did you understand that? But we take the mean plus 2 standard deviation as average, the middle. You put all this. There are people who are 4.6. There are people who are 6.2. Amitabh Bachchan. Jaya Bachchan, 4.6. You see that? Now we take a mean plus 2 standard deviation becomes 5.4. So we call normal. When did we start calling this as normal? Because we found there is business in it. What is the business? If you take the healthy population's average as disease population's normality, you get 25% on either side, which are called false positive. So for each parameter that you have checked in the lab, there are 25% false positive. So if 100 people go for a checkup, 2,500 patients come out. So a professor of medicine in America, she was very much concerned because she was a very good girl. There are occasional good doctors in America also. She asked her best student in the class, who is a patient? Do you know what the student said? A man or a woman who goes to see a doctor becomes a patient. She was shocked. She was literally shocked. She was so shocked. She was 52 years. And she said, if this is what I have taught my students, there is something wrong with our system. So she resigns her job at 52. And then, do you know what she did? She sat the MCAT examination. At 52, she joins her own medical college as a student to find out what is wrong with the medical education. And before that, before she could come out, my book had come out, What Doctors Don't Get to Study in Medical School. So she wrote me a letter. Had I seen your book, I wouldn't have wasted my time again sitting the MCAT and going through this. Do you know the next question she asked the student? When will he become a man or a woman again? The student shot back, rarely ever, comma, if ever, full stop. Modern medicine's, Western medicine's idea is not to cure your disease. If you have discovered a drug which cures a disease, they won't fund it. They want drugs which chronify your problem. I'll give you one example. How many diabetics are here? Raise your hand. Oh, good, good. Don't you worry. You're actually, in a way, better than normal people because according to some study done in Madras, you live 10 years longer than others. Now listen. Aren't you told that you should eat only wheat? Chapati every day? Yes, sir?